Okay, let's be honest for a second. Video games are complete and utter garbage. A lot of them are, at least. More than you know. Trust me, I've played some dog shit games. But at the very least, these games are very, very fun to laugh at. So that's something. There's some value to be had there. But there's another category of games which we like to call the 7 out of 10s. 7 out of 10 games are a blight upon this earth. Because you had something here, but came out with a product that's slightly above average. It's not enough for games to just be decent nowadays. You gotta hit me with an interesting concept, otherwise it feels like you're just wasting my time. The same character archetypes, the same story beats, the same gameplay styles. I've seen all of this shit before, just done slightly differently each time. Where has all the creativity gone, you ask? Well, it's right here in this video, of course, because today I'm gonna be sharing my top 5 most unique JRPGs I've ever played in my life. Games that actually took that risk in thinking outside the box, doing something no other game has done before, and where that decision actually paid off in sculpting true once-in-a-lifetime experiences. I won't be including Persona or Shin Megami Tensei games though. Those games are very unique, but I think I've talked about them long enough on this channel. And everybody already knows how great those games are, so I wanted to share the spotlight on some hidden gems instead. But before that, hello, most of you are probably new here. Welcome to my channel. If you're into JRPGs about half as much as I am, I see no reason as to why you're not subscribed right now. So yeah, go ahead and do that. It'll make my day. And with that, let's begin. Now, back in the ancient times of 2014, I played a little game on my PS Vita by the name of Danganronpa. This series needs no introduction. This was a visual novel featuring a detective/death game with a select cast of characters who slowly dwindle in size as you go through the game, and I fell in love with it, as weird as it gets sometimes. But the entire time I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, man, what would this game look like if it was a JRPG? Think about it. You got a group of characters, all of which have their own weapons and playstyles, trapped in a death game with monsters everywhere, and you would slowly start losing party members because some of the people you're trapped with are actually a couple of murderous psychopaths. Apparently, I wasn't the only one curious on how a game like this would look like, because only a few months later, we got a little hidden gem of a strategy RPG by the name of Lost Dimension, developed by Drakengard for the PS3 and PS Vita, and it was one hell of a game. The premise of Lost Dimension is pretty simple. You play as 11 soldiers, each with their own unique superpowers like telekinesis, teleportation, pyrokinesis, gravity manipulation, things like that, on their way to put a stop to this evil mastermind called The End, yes, that's his actual name, from wiping out all life on Earth for reasons you'll figure out eventually. But here's the catch. 5 of your 10 party members are actually on the End's side and are just pretending to be your allies. By the way, traitors are randomized every playthrough, so anything I show you right now is technically not a spoiler. Lucky enough, our protagonist, Shokasugai's superpower, just so happens to be seeing glimpses into the future. That allows us, and only us, to acquire clues and figure out who these snitch bitches really are. And the End was nice enough to leave us this nice little machine we can use to annihilate a whole ass person, turning them into these cute little blocks. Just adorable. Not only do we get rid of the snitch, we also get some nice keychains. Thanks, evil guy. You can, in fact, eliminate an innocent person, so, you know, you don't want that on your conscience. And if you don't play this game correctly, you're gonna hate yourself by the end of it. The actual gameplay is nothing to scoff at either. You're gonna eat shit if you don't know what you're doing. And I love how both our characters' superpowers and the character elimination feature factors into the gameplay. Everyone's got these massive skill trees, but here's the fun part. We can use our cute souvenirs left behind by our dead teammates, to combine our superpowers and get access to unique skills. And the moment I figured out we could do that, I just thought, what the fuck? Why is this just the coolest concept ever put into a video game? So for example, combining Himiko's pyrokinesis with the dead Nagi's gravitational manipulation gets you this incredibly wide-reaching AoE fire attack. and there are many more combinations. It's insane. And my god, is this game addicting as all hell. For the strategy RPG gameplay, of course, but also just playing detective, using your psychic powers and limited resources to suss out potential suspects and close in on the traitors is just so fun and gratifying every time. And it's an excellent example of how we can switch up our typical JRPG formula. So I highly recommend checking this one out if you've still got access to a PS3 or PS Vita, that is. We're actually getting a game kind of similar to this one, made by the actual Danganronpa developers this month, called the 100-Line Last Defense Academy, and I'm really excited for this one, because it looks to be following in Lost Dimension's footsteps. This would have been a great time for a sponsor message, but yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. While we're still talking about the Danganronpa developers, it wouldn't be right to ignore another one of their own hidden gems. I'm of course talking about Zanki Zero Last Beginning, a story-centric dungeon-crawling survival RPG released in 2019, available on PS4 and Steam, made in collaboration actually of both Spike Chunsoft and Landcars, which explains why it's so good. So you get the excellent storytelling elements from Spike, who have had a lot of experience writing powerful stories in their games before, and mix that with Landcars' incredibly addicting RPG gameplay experience, and the end result is just perfection. I don't want to give away too much of this game's premise, so I'll just tell you how it starts. You wake up on a deserted island along with 7 other people, and you're told via some cartoon characters that humanity has died out essentially, and that the 8 of you are the last survivors on Earth. Our characters of course come to the conclusion that this is complete horseradish and decide to work together to find out what the shit is going on. And that is the extent of what I'll tell you about the story, because this is one you'll want to unravel for yourself, because it's one hell of a unique concept. The gameplay is unique as hell too, because never have I seen a game come up to me, slam its balls in my face, and say, right, for gameplay, I want you to take the stick and fight these goats, okay? Do that for the next 3 hours. And when I say fight, I mean run away and get singular attacks in every now and then in first-person gameplay. And I'm just left there like, what? This can't possibly be the gameplay, can it? But the more you play, the more aspects of the game start to unlock. Things start to click. Dungeons get more complicated. Enemies get more aggressive. You start building your own base, crafting better weapons, finding newer ways to die. I should probably explain that last one. Alright, so your characters aren't really people anymore. They're not human. They are only clones of their former selves. The most prevalent distinction between humans and their clones being their life expectancy. Clones simulate a person's entire lifetime in just 2 weeks. So essentially, you'll be seeing all of your characters aging rapidly, going from children to young adults to grandpas and grandmas, and their stats are affected along with them. This isn't the biggest problem, because once a clone dies, it can be revived as long as there's another clone still alive that can initiate the revival process. They don't have to die of old age, mind you. They get crushed, eaten alive, burnt to cinders, shocked, and every time they die to a specific something, they get a slightly higher resistance to that something when they're later revived. So dying a lot is something you actually want to strive for. What the fuck is this game? What kind of sick, twisted fuck comes up with an idea like that? I love it, but holy shit, please get some professional help. In fact, I'll be right there with you. Now let's take a break from all the doom and gloom and talk about something a bit lighter. Now this next game is actually among my top 10 video games of all time, but I'll be the first to admit that it's not for everyone. It's quite the acquired taste. Imagine me holding a wine glass right now. But no one can deny how unique this game is, because you won't ever find something even remotely close to the experience you get when you're playing Digimon World Next Order for PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. What a special little game this is. Well, actually, it's anything but little. I meant little more as in cute as fuck. And brutal as all hell. Next Order pays homage to what Digimon was always about. Tamagotchis. Except you get 2 of them, and you actually get to do stuff with them instead of just watching your 2 pixels bounce around every now and then. So in this game, you're expected to care for your partners as best you can, give them all the love and affection you have to offer, feed them right, have them exercise, have them go poo-poo, and how well you treat them is directly proportional to their stat gains, which in turn decides what they'll eventually evolve into. Or die trying. A bit too much love given to these guys, maybe dial it back a bit. And my god, every time these guys evolve and this song comes on, It's the hypest shit ever. Once you're confident enough that your partners will not get their shit kicked in by the common street slime, that's when you start exploring the world, completing side quests, finding new Digimon to invite to town, unlocking skills, building facilities, gambling, fishing, mining, all in a race against time because your Digimon are gonna die eventually no matter how well you raise them. This is one of the most addictive gameplay loops you will ever experience. In fact, I think the term addiction is a bit weak to describe what this game does to your psyche. There's actually this interesting paranormal phenomenon that happens to anyone who plays this game. The moment you start playing, time starts moving at an accelerated pace. It kind of feels a bit like time traveling. That's how much time flies when you're having fun. It's like, what do you mean I spent 230 hours on this game? When did that happen? Now, this game might seem complicated at first, especially because it does not hold your hands, like, ever. It's the type of game that wants you to learn from your failures, an approach many games stopped taking after the PlayStation 2 era. Little by little, you start understanding how this game works, though. You start figuring out what icons mean and what causes them. You start understanding the flow of combat. You start being more efficient with what little time you have left. And you start finding grinding spots to cheat the time limit because you realize that time stops moving during battles. And really, that's where most of the fun of this game comes from, figuring out all of this shit for yourself. It's an approach I wish more games took. Did I mention that the music's enchanting? I could yap on all day about how brilliant this game is, but I think I'll save that fun for a later time. I'm gonna take a different direction with this one. So far, I've been talking about games with innovative concepts or innovative gameplay. Drakengard 3 on the PS3 was unique in its own way. You can count the other Drakengard games on this list too, but 3 is the one I played, but let's stick with that one. Now, there isn't anything particularly special about how this game plays. It's just a solid action game system featuring everything you'd expect to find in an action RPG. Light attacks, heavy attacks, blocks, parries, dodges, all that. What makes this experience so unique, though, is actually the characters. Yes, the characters. It's bizarre. In every single JRPG I've ever played, the goal with characters was always to make them as cool and as likable as possible. After all, these games can span for an average of 50 to 60 hours, so if we're spending that amount of time with these characters, they better not be complete assholes. Now, Drakengard looks at this commonly agreed upon industry standard and says, here, have a sex-crazed, horny old child lover that never shuts up about his supposedly large wiener as a party member instead. And here, have a murderous psychopathic prostitute as a protagonist too. Why not? There are no rules here. Oh, and what's more, the reason we're set on this journey in the first place is so our foul-mouthed exhibitionist over here can kill her sisters and steal their boyfriends because she feels like it. There is not a single character in this game that I would even slightly categorize as being likable. They're all genuinely terrible people, except for Mikhail, I guess, but he's not really people, is he? He's just a little dragon guy doing whatever it is that dragons do. Adventuring with these people is like becoming best friends with a couple of mental asylum patients. It's like watching animals at the zoo. I know they're dumb as fuck and would probably try to kill me if I come too close, but it's just so entertaining to watch them just go about their day. These conversations get so out of whack so fast, and I loved every second of it, except for whenever the old guy starts talking about his massive schlong. I would much rather we just delete him from the game. Last entry for today is actually a game and its sequel because, well, I pretty much love both of them for the same reasons. I've got the Caligula Effect 1 and 2 for the PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Both games feature a vast array of characters stuck in a virtual world where any and all of their wishes can be granted. So they can eat whatever they want, have any talent they want, have any of their injuries or illnesses be magically cured, and they can even choose to look like their ideal selves in this world, which all of them apparently choose to look like high schoolers, because we know Japan's just crazy about high school for some reason. So you could technically have an 80-year-old man pretending to be a young, hot supermodel and no one would be the wiser, and I will neither confirm nor deny if that actually happens. You're gonna have to play the game for yourself to find out. But what's genius about this plot is all the nuance that comes with it. In both games, our main characters form what's called the Go Home Club. We're the ones trying to break out of this supposedly perfect virtual world and go back to our real lives because we agree that a fake world is not worth living in. and that we're just running away from reality if we choose to stay here. That of course means that our villains, in quotation marks, are the people who want to stay in this world, because to them the real world brings them nothing but pain. And this plot gets pretty creative in coming up with reasons for why someone might want to stay inside the simulation. One person could have an incurable disease, another could have lost a loved one and decided to inhabit an avatar that looks and sounds like them. Another could have dreams that are unattainable in the real world due to disabilities they have no control over. And to people like that, the virtual world is all they have left. What's most inspiring though is our party members. Our party members' real lives aren't exactly all sunshine and rainbows either, yet they still fight tooth and nail to go back to those lives. Each of them has a secret about their true selves that they aren't willing to disclose unless you get close enough to them in a kind of persona-like social link system. And every one of these scenes starts off with this warning message telling us, bro, are you sure you want to hear this? What these characters are about to tell you will shatter everything you thought you knew about them. I love these, and a lot of these scenes always proceed to leave my jaw gaping wide open, so I will absolutely not spoil a single one of them. Don't want to take too long of the story, but I want to highlight something only present in the first game. The first game actually gives you the option to betray your friends and side with the antagonists. So you'll essentially be playing both sides throughout the entire game before deciding who you want to side with. It's such a unique concept that's never been done before, so I just had to mention it. Now, this game's battle system is very unique too, and very addicting as well. It's also really hard to explain, but I'll try my best. It's a turn-based battle system where you essentially want to create the longest possible combos by having your characters attack in a sequence. Some attacks only work if they're countering an enemy, some only work in the air, some only when they're blocking or knocked down. And what's cool is that this game gives you a little preview of what's about to happen, along with the percentage of it actually working before confirming your actions. And that's just... I could not believe the creativity being displayed on my screen when I first saw this. I did kind of a shitty job trying to explain it, but maybe this is one you just have to try for yourself, as this video won't do it justice. Now, one final thing. The music. Music's a pretty big focus in this game, as I believe the developer himself is a musician. It's actually the main selling point, so much so that the music is the first thing they turn to when marketing these games. Every chapter and dungeon in this game has its own idle song to accompany it. An instrumental version when you're walking around, and then it smoothly transitions into the lyrical version when you start the battle. And every song is actually representative of that chapter's antagonist, so it's always really fun when you realize what the lyrics actually meant. So yeah, I guess your enjoyment of this game highly depends on how much you like or don't mind J-pop. I know another JRPG YouTuber, Eric Landon, one of my many inspirations for starting this channel, absolutely despises these games because of the music. It's pretty funny. As for me, it's a mixed bag, honestly. Some songs I think are incredibly catchy, others make me want to staple my ears shut. But it's all good, because the gameplay is reason enough for me to say that these games are incredible and well worth playing. If I were to recommend one of them though, I'd probably go with the second one. It's a lot shorter and a lot less jank, so I hope you check it out. And there we go, 5 of the most creative and innovative JRPGs I've ever played. Let me know what you think, and here's to you finishing your backlog of games without me adding more to the pile. You're welcome. But thank you so much for watching, subscribe for more gaming content just like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.